What if a single verified fact surfaced online and instantly made millions realize that the world they trusted wasn't operating the way they believed? That's exactly what happened when this revelation exploded across the internet without warning. It wasn't gossip, speculation, or conspiracy. It was documented information that forced people to stop scrolling and start questioning. In this video, we're breaking down the fact that stunned experts confused platforms and reshaped online conversations overnight. You'll see how this information emerged, why no one anticipated it, and how artificial intelligence played an unexpected role in spreading and interpreting it. Stay with me, because by the end, you may realize this moment was not an accident. It was a preview of what's coming next. Before we dive deeper, make sure you like the video, share it with someone who loves mind-blowing facts, and subscribe to FactVex right now. What unfolds next will show you how one overlooked truth spiraled into something no one could control, and the final reveal will change how you see viral information forever. The moment it appeared online. It started quietly, almost invisibly, with a post that didn't look extraordinary at first glance. There was no countdown, no press release, and no coordinated campaign behind it. Yet within minutes, people began sharing it rapidly, not because it was dramatic, but because it was verifiable. Screenshots, sources, and raw data backed it up immediately. The speed of its spread showed how today's internet rewards clarity over hype. Once the information reached a critical mass, reaction videos, breakdown threads, and expert commentary followed instantly. This wasn't chaos, it was collective attention locking onto something real. The moment became unforgettable because it happened organically, without manipulation, and people sensed that authenticity right away. Why experts didn't predict it. What shocked many observers was not just the fact itself, but how completely it blindsided professionals who study trends for a living. Analysts rely on patterns, forecasts, and historical behavior, yet this event didn't follow any familiar curve. The data existed, but it sat in overlooked spaces no model prioritized. Experts weren't careless. They were constrained by systems built for gradual change, not sudden exposure. When the information surfaced, it bypassed traditional filters and reached the public directly. This revealed a key weakness in expert forecasting. It often depends on controlled visibility. When information jumps outside those lanes, even the most experienced professionals can be caught off guard. How artificial intelligence amplified the shock. Artificial intelligence did not create the original fact, but it dramatically accelerated its impact. Automated systems detected rapid engagement signals, pushing the content into more feeds within minutes. At the same time, artificial intelligence tools began summarizing, translating, and analyzing the information across platforms, making it accessible globally. This removed friction that once slowed understanding. Instead of waiting days for analysis, people saw insights instantly. The amplification wasn't emotional, it was mechanical, driven by algorithms designed to surface relevance. Ironically, the technology built to optimize attention ended up magnifying a truth that disrupted trust. This moment demonstrated how artificial intelligence can unintentionally turn a single fact into a worldwide event. The data point that changed everything among all the information shared. One specific detail caused the narrative to shift instantly. It wasn't a headline claim, but a small data point that contradicted years of accepted assumptions. Once people noticed it, everything else snapped into focus. Discussions moved from disbelief to realization almost overnight. That single detail acted like a missing puzzle piece, explaining inconsistencies people had sensed but couldn't prove. The reason it mattered so much was its clarity. No interpretation was needed. It stood on its own. When millions independently reached the same conclusion after seeing it, the conversation stopped being emotional and started becoming unavoidable. Why traditional media fell behind. By the time traditional media outlets reacted, the internet had already digested the information and moved on to analysis. Television segments and articles felt late because they were built for confirmation, not discovery. Editors needed time to verify and frame the story, while online audiences had already done that collectively. This delay made mainstream coverage feel reactive instead of authoritative. The gap wasn't about credibility, it was about speed. Digital platforms allowed real-time validation through shared sources. As a result, traditional media wasn't leading the conversation, it was summarizing one that had already evolved. This moment highlighted a growing shift in who controls the first draft of public understanding. The psychological reason people couldn't look away. The reason this fact captured attention wasn't just because it was surprising, it was because it challenged personal certainty. People felt a mental jolt when something they assumed to be stable suddenly changed. Psychologically, the brain is wired to focus on information that threatens understanding of reality. This triggered curiosity, discomfort, and a need for resolution at the same time. Scrolling wasn't enough. People wanted explanations. The internet became a shared processing space where users collectively tried to make sense of the shift. That emotional engagement kept the topic alive far longer than ordinary viral content because it wasn't entertaining. It was unsettling. How platforms responded in real-time. Social platforms were forced to react quickly as engagement surged beyond normal patterns. Labels appeared, warnings were tested, and visibility rules quietly adjusted. These actions weren't malicious. They were emergency responses to abnormal velocity. However, the interventions had an unintended effect. Each limitation drew more attention, making users curious about what was being restricted. Transparency gaps created speculation, even though the original information remained accessible. This created a paradox where moderation efforts fueled interest rather than controlling it. The situation revealed how platforms struggle when truth spreads faster than their governance systems were designed to handle. The hidden system that was exposed. Beyond the headline revelation, something deeper emerged, an underlying system influencing decisions quietly for years. The exposed fact didn't stand alone. It pointed to processes operating in the background, shaping outcomes invisibly. Once people traced the connections, patterns became harder to ignore. What felt like coincidence before now looked intentional. This was unsettling because systems are comforting when they're predictable, but disturbing when they're hidden. The realization wasn't about blame, it was about awareness. Many viewers weren't angry. They were surprised at how much had been happening unnoticed. That awareness alone changed how people evaluated information going forward, how the meaning of truth is changing. This moment demonstrated that truth today is shaped by timing as much as accuracy. A fact arriving too late loses impact, while one arriving suddenly can redefine understanding instantly. Verification still matters, but interpretation now happens collectively and immediately. People no longer wait for authority to explain meaning. They build it together through analysis, comparison, and discussion. This doesn't make truth weaker, it makes it faster. However, speed comes with risk because context can lag behind. The challenge moving forward is balancing immediacy with depth. This event showed that once truth moves, it rarely pauses for permission. How artificial intelligence viewed it differently. While humans reacted emotionally, artificial intelligence processed the event through patterns and probabilities. It identified correlations, historical similarities, and cascading impacts without bias or fatigue. Artificial intelligence tools flagged long-term implications faster than any individual could, even predicting secondary discussions before they emerged. This contrast was striking. Humans debated meaning, while artificial intelligence mapped consequences. Neither approach was complete alone. Together, they offered a clearer picture of what the fact truly represented. This highlighted a future where understanding major events may increasingly rely on collaboration between human judgment and machine analysis. The long-term effects few are discussing long after the viral surge fades, the consequences will continue quietly. Policies will adjust, systems will recalibrate, and trust will be reevaluated. These changes won't trend online, but they will shape outcomes for years. Moments like this create reference points that future decisions are compared against. Even people who didn't follow the story directly will feel its influence indirectly. The real impact isn't emotional, it's structural. History shows that once awareness crosses a certain threshold, reversal becomes impossible. This was one of those moments, whether people recognized it immediately or not. Why? This was only the beginning. What broke the internet wasn't an ending. It was a signal. The systems that allowed this fact to surface are still evolving, and future revelations will move even faster. As artificial intelligence continues improving pattern detection and information flow, similar moments will become more frequent and more disruptive. The shock won't come from falsehoods, but from truths arriving sooner than expected. This event prepared people for that reality. Those paying attention understood the message. The next internet-breaking fact won't ask for attention. It will simply arrive and demand understanding. Thanks for staying with me through this breakdown. What started as one quiet fact ended up exposing how information, systems, and artificial intelligence now shape reality at lightning speed. The biggest takeaway isn't fear, it's awareness. Moments like this remind us to question gently, think critically, and stay curious rather than reactive. If this story made you pause or rethink something, that's exactly the point. I appreciate you spending your time with FactVex. Stick around because the next video dives into another reality most people notice only after it's already changed everything. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.